Today we're going to be making a honeycomb mushroom from cardstock paper. And these are some of the tools and materials you will need to make those. To start with, you're going to need your Barely Art Precision Craft Glue. We'll also be using these mini clips, your large scissors if you'll be cutting these out by hand. We chose to use a Cricut cutting machine. You're also going to need some sort of box that has a corner with some walls, and the corner should be at a 90-degree angle so that you can press your mushrooms as you're gluing the layers together to keep everything straight. And then the cardstock colors we're going to be using are goldenrod, which is this nice yellow. Today we'll be making the mushroom out of mandarin. We've also used ginger for a mushroom, and cafe au lait, which is a kind of ashy brown. And you only need one cardstock color per mushroom. To get started, you're going to need to cut out all of your mushroom pieces. In the SVG file, there are enough pieces to make one mushroom and everything is grouped together. Once you've cut out all of your pieces, you'll notice that each piece has score lines, and there are two different positions for these score lines. So we need to separate all of our pieces into piles where the score lines match. I'm going to do that right now. Once you've organized your mushroom pieces into these two piles, we're ready to start gluing them together. So you're going to need your box or whatever you have on hand that has that right angle and some walls. So I'm just using a drawer. This is like a little drawer that we store some of our pan pastels in. And then you're going to need your white glue. And to get started, grab one mushroom and note where the score lines are. So these score lines are going to be used as just a guide for where you're going to apply the glue. So you're going to take one piece and just go ahead and apply a thin line of glue on each score line. And then you'll take a piece from the other pile with the score lines placed differently. And we're just going to line that piece on top the best you can. And then we're using this box. I'm going to set my mushroom in this box. And I'm just pushing up against the side of the box to make sure everything is really even. And this is just going to help you stack all of these pieces so they are straight. And you can take the mushroom out between each piece that you glue together. So now we are just going to add glue to those score marks again. And I'm going to take a mushroom from the other pile with those score lines that are placed differently and line it up on top. And again, I'm placing it in that box and just making sure it's stacked perfectly on top of each other. And you'll continue doing this until you've used all of your mushroom pieces. Now we're getting ready to put on our last piece, and you just want to make sure that the score lines are in the opposite place as the one you started with. So with this, we started with the score lines that were towards the bottom, and so we're finishing with the score lines that are towards the top of the mushroom. Pressing everything into place. And this is what your mushroom should look like once you've finished gluing all of the layers together. There are 3 different sizes of mushrooms, and depending on which one you're making, there will be more or less layers. So just double check your PDF template and make sure you've cut out enough layers for your mushroom. Now that you've finished gluing them all together, you just need to set this aside and let it dry for about 5 to 10 minutes to make sure the glue hold is strong enough to open everything up without the layers splitting apart. Now that the glue is dry on your mushroom, we're going to start opening it up. So begin opening up the layers. There may be a little bit of sticky glue. Just make sure everything opens up so that you see that nice honeycomb shape. We're also stretching this out so that the two sides will wrap around and meet. So you can see some of these layers can get stuck together. I just like to run kind of my finger, or you could use your scissors to just separate them again. Right, and then you want to make sure that the two sides will come around and easily meet, which they do. And since that's all stretched out and opened, we're going to close it again, and I'm going to apply glue along these score lines on the top piece. Okay, so I've applied my glue. You're going to want to grab your clips, these little mini clips, and now bring the two sides together. And you just want to make sure you're lining everything up, and this can take a little bit of practice. It can be finicky. I'm going to pinch it together. And once I'm holding them together, I'm going to grab one of these clips to help me hold it, and continuing just to make sure everything is lined up. So while the glue's still wet. And now I'm going to take another clip and just pinch right up here at the top of my mushroom. And I'm also going to add a clip just down at the bottom. So I've used 3 clips, and we are going to leave those clips on for at least 10 minutes until that glue is completely dry. After about 10 minutes, the mushroom should now be dry enough to remove the clips. And everything will stay together, and they're ready to display. The project includes templates for 3 different mushroom sizes. Happy crafting!